Hi.
Hello.
I guess we have to start.
Hi, Molly.
Hey there. How are you? Oh, there you are.
Well, we were trying to do it on the computer, but it wouldn't work. So I finally said, should we try it from my phone?
Oh, well, that's working out good.
Wonderful.
What a great picture you got there.
Thank you, sir.
And the Blackwater polo team,
Yes, sir.
ready to go to work.
Yes,
Good
sir.
for you. Angeline, why don't you introduce yourself? Angeline is your local neighbor
Awesome.
that you've spoken with.
Yes, Molly, we spoke over the phone. Nice to meet you both officially.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, ma'am.
Wonderful. I just brought Tom and Kathy on because they're also community volunteers for the program so that we can make sure that you guys have as much resources as possible so we can get you as much sponsorship as possible to go through the process, as well as to get as much information as we need to get that recommendation done. By the way, I read all of that information. Way to go.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. You've been doing awesome. Mama,
Yeah, what a beautiful.
That was wonderful. Great achievement in working in the community. Congratulations on that. That has literally given you a leg up in this process, definitely. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom, and we're going to go through the rest of this meeting for him to kind of guide you through what needs to be done so that we can get you guys rolling, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
Kathy and I, thank you very much, you guys, for being here. Kathy and I come out of an education background. Kathy is a retired school teacher and retired after teaching. And then I went to college to be a high school counselor and teacher. And after teaching for a short time, just decided that it wasn't my cup of tea. But one of the things that inspired me to try to get money for college is that I have 4 children. They were all born 1 year apart, and so we had 4 of them in college at one time. As you can tell, I'm kind of an old guy, so my kids are grown up and my grandkids are already in college.
Wow.
I've been a volunteer with the organization since 1980. And the main reason why I got involved was so that my own children would get money for college. And at the same time, since the organization started, over 50,000 students have received funding for college. And with the help of our staff, one of our staff directors who's not on the meeting with us, her name is Yvonne Henderson, we've secured students a little bit in excess of $1 billion with a B.
Wow.
In merit-based awards. That's all she does, and that's all her team does, is get money. We're not affiliated with any college. We're not a part of any political group. We're not a part of a religious group. We're an independent community service nonprofit. Our mission is to help students get money. And we've gotten to be so good at it that the organization puts their funding offer to you in writing. One of the greatest things you have going for you, Cole, is that you've built a beautiful profile. All of your community service work, the things that you've done through your homeowners association, your volunteerism, your just good Samaritan type things. And God only knows your mother cannot have enough paper to say all the wonderful things she needs to say about how proud she is of what you've accomplished. And so I really congratulate you on the kind of efforts that you've made. And by the way, you guys have a beautiful home.
Oh, thank you. It's a bit of a mess right now, but that's the result of being home all the time with the pandemic, right?
I hear you. We're all
a lot of time at home.
Living where we work. Yep. So let me understand, what is your target school right now, Cole?
So my target school is the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. And
okay.
Yes, sir. And I was accepted to their pre-med program, which is that was my top pick school.
That was your
I was
top.
hoping
And
to.
what motivated you to pick that particular school over many of the others? I'm guessing your inbox and your mailbox must be full of offers from colleges from everywhere.
Yes, sir. Well, when I was in sophomore year, I had gone to a training for my sea cadet program that I was in that exposed me to medicine. And
Yeah.
I had thought that I wanted to join the military and do combat medicine and paramedicine. But then as I had looked more into the field, I started to realize that what I kind of more wanted was to get my MD or go and to actually become a physician. So early junior year after the training, I had started to look into how to become a physician. And I learned about the pre-med pathway. And one of the things that stuck out to me about MCPHS is it's right in the middle of the Longwood medical area. So it's got great rates of even pre-med passing, shadowing physicians in the area. And my grandfather, unfortunately, at one point had a hemorrhagic stroke. And the neurosurgeon that operated on him actually was a graduate of the MCPHS. So
that's a pretty strong endorsement right there.
Yes, sir.
I can see that. You know, you mentioned battlefield was your first thought in terms of surgical and medical care. I don't know, you may not remember this, but a few years ago, one of our state representatives, her name is Gabrielle Giffords, was in front of a local grocery store here in town. And some crazy kid who was high on drugs or something came straight up and shot her point blank right through the head and split one side of her head almost in two. And her assistant just held her head together, and they took her to the University of Arizona Medical Center to see if they could save her life. And as you may know, they were successful. She's back speaking and active again, and her husband is in politics and has kind of taken her role in our community. And her husband's brother spent a lot of time up in the space station and space travel in their careers. They're both astronauts. And the reason I bring that up, talk about the luck of the draw or blessings on your day. At the time she was shot, 35 of the top field trauma surgeons in the world were at the University of Arizona Medical Center in a symposium. And when they brought her in, they all just got dressed for surgery and came in, and she had what undoubtedly is the best medical care for head injury like that you could possibly have. These were all battlefield physicians.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
So normally we go through this interview to talk with you about how you're qualified. And God only knows your mother has more than presented sufficient information for us to be able to get you the funding you need. We just need to explain a little bit about how the process works.
Okay.
First of all, when you applied to the school, have they admitted you yet?
To my knowledge, yes, they have. I mean, I got an acceptance letter, so I believe.
Okay. And have you and your mother filled out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid?
I have not, no.
He just got,
okay.
He just got the acceptance a week ago.
Yeah, it was
right.
It
came in.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Pretty exciting time. Now we get down to the serious part, and that's how the dickens are we going to pay for it, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you have some resources set aside, Molly, for school, or what's your situation in regard to how you intend to pay? I see you have 3 children. Probably all will be going on to college. So what's your plan of action right now?
Well, I mean, it's going to have to be financial aid for us. I was a caretaker for my father, who is a stroke survivor. Until he just passed away a year and a half ago. And my mother has Parkinson's, but she's not really at the advanced, stages.
Okay.
Kind of getting there thanks to the quarantine. because she couldn't get as much exercise and whatnot. But education's always been very important to us. We will make it happen. My father was a assistant superintendent of schools in Westfield, New Jersey, and
Okay,
public schools. And my mother was the superintendent of Watchung Public Schools in New Jersey as well. So education is very important to our family. So we will make it happen, whatever scrounging we have to do. But like you said, when you have 3 kids, it's also different because the school that he has chosen, he's worked so hard that I said I'd stand behind him and do whatever we needed to do with this, with financing. But he chose a school that's a private school and it's out of state. And so it's not a small.
right.
not
When
a-
I saw your price tag of 35,000 a year, I actually thought that was a little low.
It might be because I think that,
Yeah, that's the tuition.
yeah, exactly. That's not books and housing and.
Right. The room and board is typically close to double that amount.
Yeah, I heard it could be about 57 with all things
Yeah.
considered.
Okay, so with that in mind, and then the fact that college costs go up each and every year, money is going to be an issue. And then he's not just going to be going to school for 4 years.
Right.
You've got a lot of schooling ahead of you.
Mhm.
So let me get right down to the brass tacks and explain how we do this. It's really a very simple formula, but it requires, first of all, from you, Molly, just a lot of support and encouragement.
Mhm.
And I know that if you're at home and you've got some extra time, you may be able to help them with odd and end things along the way, but mostly it's about building a relationship
Mhm.
between you and the college, and not just the college he chooses, because here's the issue. The college you're choosing is a popular school for all the reasons you've already told me.
Right.
So how far away is it for you to go to school, Cole?
Well, I live in Orlando, Florida, and college that I picked, MCPHS, is in Boston, Massachusetts. So it's quite.
So you have family there or anything like that?
I do not have family, as
Uh-huh.
but my mom does have a lot of friends that live in that area.
That's good. It'll be nice to have a connection there, but the way we get you money is really simple. It is a strategy that we're in our 41st year of doing this kind of work. We've never missed with a student, especially with your profile. So this is what it takes. It's going to take from you about a half hour a week in terms of communicating. There's 2 kinds of money that you get for college. One is based on financial need. So when you get ready to file the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, they call it,
Yes, sir.
that form is going to be requested from you very, very soon. Mrs. Henderson, our director, has an accounting background. And as part of what we do for the students that we work with, we will assist you. And by the way, we're recording this, so we'll send you a recording so you don't have to worry about trying to
Oh,
write down
okay.
everything. Yeah.
Thanks, I can hold that for you then.
Yeah, that's great. And so I wanted to let you know that one of the first things that will be important to do is to file the free application for federal student aid. And we can work on that with you within the next week or 10 days, because that will be important. But as important, in fact, more important than that, is going to be getting accepted at 6 or more other medical schools who step up and try to give you money to try to talk you into coming to their school. What puts pressure on colleges, especially private colleges, is to have some of those great colleges that are writing to you now, like Creighton University and Omaha, Nebraska, some of the other colleges and universities that are trying to recruit you to their campus, offer you funding. We'll show you how to apply to these colleges and get offers of funding so that you can turn around and use those for the critical key for getting money, and that's negotiation. You are the commodity, Cole. These colleges are looking for happy, productive, successful, and ultimately contributing alumni, people that are willing to give money back to the college. And have you visited the college campus yet?
I have not, no. I have taken a virtual visit. I would like to go and visit the campus in person, but because of I'm an EMT student as well right now, so my schedule is pretty packed in.
Usually you'd go during the junior year. We would have been going last year, but of course the lockdown happened in March. The plan was then to start touring colleges. So,
well, one of the things I wanted you to know is that college, as well as other medical schools, a prominent part of their recruitment protocol is to invite you for a campus visit. And Mrs. Henderson, our director, has some techniques to help you actually get the school to fund these visits. That typically includes your transportation, a portion, if not all, of your airfare and expenses while you're doing this. The advantage to going to the campus is just, first of all, it shows your family, your mom in particular, where you're going to be. So she kind of can visually picture where she is. I take it that it's the two of you that are working on this project. Is anyone else in the family involved in the financial end of paying?
no,
for school?
my mother will probably do what she can to help. I mean, where we've needed like the, application deposits and like soon he'll have to do his deposit if he's going to the school. I think it's like $500 or something.
Right.
She tends to help with those things because she knows it's harder for us to come up with the,
That's wonderful. Well, keep that in mind as I share with you what we do and how we go about it, because for most families, you're looking at probably close to $500,000 by the time you finish college in terms of costs. And the last thing you want to be is have, a $2,000 or $3,000 a month loan payment or anything like that to face once you graduate from college. You'll need that money for establishing your practice or relocating or whatever it is that you decide to do. So the strategy behind applying to other colleges, Cole, is to create almost like a feeding frenzy. When one college thinks they may potentially lose you to somebody else, because let's face it, you're a single parent, you're raising 3 children. It isn't like you have the capability because of your situation of just going out and getting a high-powered job, even though you could probably qualify for one. You still have your family to raise and all those responsibilities as well. So these colleges are going to be very aggressive at competing for Cole. Now, I want you to understand, Cole, the reason I'm telling you this, we have no intention or interest in changing your mind about where you go. All we're trying to do is give you leverage with the school. And being a great student and having the profile you have is an important step. But more importantly, they want to know for sure that you're dedicated and committed to coming. And when you start getting award offers from other prominent schools, that Johns Hopkins, other schools like this that are trying to recruit you to their campus, where colleges get most of their money is not from the tuition and room and board that we pay as parents and students, but from the generous donations and gifts that come back to the school from the successful physicians and medical practitioners who graduate from your school. And when they feel thankful for a great education that launched their career, they give generously back to the college. The college has hundreds of millions of dollars in what they refer to as endowment money. These are gifts that former students and alumni have given to the school. And typically what they do is they wait until you and your mom file the free application for federal student aid. Now, based on the fact that you're not employed outside the home, is that right, Molly?
I actually, right now I work for Centene Corporation. I do over-the-counter, I help Medicaid patients with over-the-counter orders. So it's a patient care position. It's a phone.
It's a phone position.
Mhm.
Okay.
But-
So,
In the home. I work here 8 to 4:30 every Monday to Friday.
okay. And you do a lot of your stuff through Zoom.
Yes, we do.
Good for you.
Most is not video calls though, but yes.
Yeah, but telephone calls
Right.
or, yeah, I understand, because not all of your clientele would be computer savvy
Right.
or
That-
potentially know how to connect. So I can tell you're a very patient mother. You must be. We have worked early in my career, I was in the insurance business with a company called Mutual of Omaha, and we help people with Medicare all the time. And you have to be very thoughtful and very patient to help them understand what they need to do and how that needs to go. So the very first step we would do, and Mrs. Henderson has already done some preliminary research. She already has 36 schools that are interested in recruiting you. Not only do they want to recruit you, but these are schools that will show you how to apply to these schools without even paying any application fees. So grandma's not going to need to dig in her purse to give you $100 to make application at every one of these schools. We'll show you how to make application without paying the application fees in 90% of the cases. The purpose for that is for the college you've chosen to know that you have other choices. And because you're in a family where you're not the only one tapping into family resources, once they get your family dynamics, which will be shown on the federal financial aid form, they're going to know that mom has other children coming in the future. And so she's got to try to spread her family resources to accommodate all of you. And of course, I know after you complete your career in college, based on just who you are as a human being, if you're little, one of your younger siblings is going to need some help going to school, I know you'll be there to step up and do what you can, even if you're busy building your practice at
Yes,
that
sir.
time. But our organization works with the entire family. So if we work with one student in the household, we work with all students in the household. Many of the students that we work with them for 10, 15 years, just depending on the logistics of the family. So if you've got younger students, about the time you get ready to go out of school, another one's going to be going. And then when that one's ready to go, the next one's going to be going. So you're going to be in the college business for a
I
little
know.
while, Molly.
It's
And as a result, our team, which is now in our 41st year of doing this, will be available to kind of help you and guide you through all of this. This is all we do. We're all retired from our careers except Angeline. Angeline is actively building her business in the community. And one of her concerns is that many of the clients that she works with bankrupt their retirement or mortgage their houses or spend down all of their assets trying to figure out how to pay for college. So she joined our organization to be able to provide these resources so that you could keep as much of your personal money, Molly, for your own retirement.
well,
And
like
for
you
need.
are, Angeline. You're my
And
favorite.
so our process is pretty simple. We have a staff of people here who do research and planning. Mrs. Henderson, should you choose to accept our funding offer, we will be reaching out to these other colleges within the next week or two. We'll be writing directly to those schools. We're not asking you to do it. We're going to do the legwork so that you don't have to go out and try to figure out which schools should I be approaching about this. Have any of the colleges, you'd mentioned application fees earlier, Cole. I take that to mean you've applied to some other schools too.
Yes, sir, I did. I only applied to one other school, sir, because it was local. So I kind of wanted to have a safety school, and that
Okay.
Berry University in Miami, and they accepted me as well.
Also a private school.
I understand. Well, just the nature of your career path. Believe it or not, 3 of my 4 children went to private schools.
Yeah.
We paid less money to send them to the private school than my daughter who went to a state school.
Wow,
Wow.
that's shocking.
I didn't-
And the reason why that's the case is because the private schools have more dough.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
They've got
Right.
more successful graduates who, because of the experience they had at a private school, give generously back to the college. And that money is there
Yeah.
to help them. But colleges have kind of a well-known nasty reputation for forcing a lot of student loans on you because they think someday you're going to be making big bucks and you're going to be able to pay those loans back. And it's not uncommon for us to hear of physicians graduating with, $100, $200, $300,000 worth of debt.
Mhm.
So our mission is to show you how to use as little of your money and grandma's money and as much of the college's money as possible. And the college is willing to use their money for this reason. When the college gives you a scholarship, let's say that the total price ends up being around 60 grand where you go, and they end up giving you, with your grades and profile and everything, I'd be surprised if you don't get 40 of it or more.
Wow.
So from the school, but they're not just going to volunteer it. We're going to put the headlock on them and say, look, we'll show you how to write a letter to the school. This is all done in writing, by the way. Thank you for your generous offer of $5,000 a year to attend your school. However, funding will be an important part of my final decision. Please find enclosed the photocopy of the award letters from the other 6 schools I'm considering. As you know, my mother is a single parent and I have 2 younger siblings. And in order to be a good steward of my family's resources, I've applied to these other schools. Here's my award letter from Creighton Medical School. Here's my award letter from Johns Hopkins. Here's my award letter from Florida. Is there anything more you might be able to do to help me attend your school? It's been my favorite choice. It's my number 1 choice of all the schools. However, with my circumstance, I really need funding assistance. So that's when the college gives you $40,000 of the 50 or 60 that you need. You're not going to go to the mailbox, Cole, and open an envelope that has a $40,000 check.
Right.
You're going to get a letter that says, congratulations, we now received your FAFSA form, your free application for federal student aid. And based on the information you presented, here is the amount of money we would be willing to provide you to help you to come to our school. And I can promise you, there's going to be a bunch of loans in there. So it's important that you understand that we're not trying to change your mind about where you're going. We're using this as a bargaining chip. If the college thinks they're going to lose you, they'll give you more money, because when they give you the 40,000, they take the 40,000 out of their left pocket, they put it back in their right pocket, and then they ask you and your mom to come up with the difference. It's funny money. It's a paper entry. 60 minus the 40 we gave you equals 20. Now you and your mom figure out how you're going to come up with that. And they'll make other options available to you. And with the profile you have, with the resume that you have, by the way, if you write anything like your mother, they're going to be dancing around in the admissions
Thank you. I
offices.
appreciate that.
Really, trying to figure out how they're going to get you. And if they see that one of their top competitors is trying to snatch you away, that's the only motivation they need.
Okay.
Yes, your profile is important, but they know that if these other colleges step up, if some college that I know you may have never even heard of Creighton, but Creighton in Omaha, Nebraska graduates medical students all the time. If you complete their undergraduate program, they guarantee your admission to medical school. You don't even have to take a test or compete with anybody else to get in. That's part of their deal.
Wow.
That's how they get the cream of the crop. That's how they get the pick of the litter,
Yeah.
so to speak. They give that as an added incentive. So we know, Mrs. Henderson knows which schools to apply to get those stellar offers, so that when you go back to your school and say, gee, I really want to go here, look what all these people are doing, they're going to read between the lines and know they need to sharpen their pencil, or they could potentially lose you to someplace else, even if you already gave them a $500 deposit. So I want you, she'll show you how sometimes you can defer those deposits. One thing you do not want to take, and that's early decision. Are you familiar with that terminology?
Yes, sir, I am.
Early decision is a binding contract that says you are going to relinquish offers from all other schools in order to for them to accept you. In your situation, you need that competition to put pressure on the schools so that they'll give you more money. If you just say, okay, well, you let me in and I'll figure out how to pay, then they're just going to sit back and wait and see what you and mom do to come up with the money. That's just how the business of college goes.
Never even thought of
Well,
it. It's fascinating,
Yeah.
but it makes
It
sense.
is
You're
too.
creating.
Yes,
Sure,
you're creating and enhancing the need for them to give you money.
Mhm.
And let's face it, with the profile he's got, the kind of community service he gives, the things he does with just what's in him because of the way he's been raised,
Aw.
that's the kind of stuff that colleges look for.
Well, and I
They,
appreciate that, but here's a question that I have for you. If I
yes,
from what I have found in just those schools that he applied to, they asked for the transcripts from the school.
Yeah.
He didn't have it quite as together, in all fairness, his freshman and sophomore year, but it's sort of like something just clicked for him, after that, once he found what he wanted to do. And the Naval Sea Cadets really helped him quite a bit too. And with this medical, goals of his, I kept on saying, you sure you don't want to do the military? Not really, but like, I support you, whatever you want to do, but it's going to be a pretty penny. But in
Right.
these applications, all they ask for is the transcript and then one teacher
Yeah, one
recommendation, I think, or
recommendation.
something like that. So I appreciate what you're saying about my
but
writing,
those,
not-
yeah,
but we don't really have that many opportunities to show that. I mean, for other schools,
well, that's all right. You will.
Okay.
That's something we make happen.
Oh, okay.
And we'll coach Cole on how he goes about telling how he had to come to Jesus' dream one night when he was a sophomore and decided, hey, I'm not going the way I want to go. I'm going to change my focus. Look what I've done in the meantime.
That's exactly what happened, sir.
I know that's exactly what happened. And you got to tell that story, and you got to tell it with the same compassion you're telling it to me. And if you can't think of how to say it, ask your mom, because she sure as hell knows how to say
Well,
it.
that's what you had to do when you applied to college. You had the
Right.
what do you call it, the essay or whatnot, but they just don't.
The essay, the transcripts, the recommendation from your teacher means little or nothing to the college. They throw those in the file. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry sends them one of those. What you want is some of those people who are in your association who think that you can walk on water, the people that are part of your summer project that you were on that know who you are. And we're running up against a deadline here in our meeting because we've got to sign off here before too long. But pure and simple, I'm going to give you all the details. We're going to send you over our formal offer. Here's the punchline. We have a $100 per year family membership dues that covers all the kids. And the first year you join, we ask you to make a one-time contribution research and planning fee of $1,400. So it's a total of $1,500 one time for you and your siblings, and then $100 each anniversary, any year that you need our help. And because your kids are kind of stair-step, you might be with us for quite a few years like mine were. We've had some Mormon families or big Catholic families. They've been with us for over 20 years,
Yeah.
because they just have that many kids.
Yeah.
So we're going to send you our formal offer rather than you going to grandma every time you need 500 here, 20,000 here, 10,000 there. Step up and have her help you get involved with our program so we can put our 40 years of experience to work on your behalf. We're going to give you a written commitment of funding. The amount of written guarantee we make is $30,000, which in your case is a gimme. I don't know if you play golf, but if you don't get 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of the money you need, I'll be surprised. That's the kind of job you've done in building your profile. You're well-spoken, you have great manners. Any opportunity that you have for a personal interview with these colleges, you want every college you talk to, Cole, to think that there's nothing more in the world than you want but to go to their college.
Yes, sir.
The more they think you love them, the more they will love you. And that's the bigger the check they'll give you. You understand this is a negotiation. This is business negotiation. If you were buying a $500,000 house, you wouldn't go out and say, oh, there's a nice one, let me write them a check. You would negotiate. You'd get comparables. You'd negotiate to see how much of a discount you could get. So that's what we're going to be doing, is working on getting you the discount. We'll help you with the essay, with your essays and all of the other information the school needs. We'll have you review some letters that you're going to put together to explain your reincarnation during your sophomore year in high school, where you decided, I'm gonna make something out of this. I'm not gonna let this just be what I am. I'm gonna be something else. And you've done everything in your power to make that happen. So I've never felt so strongly. You have a bright future. You certainly have a bright opportunity for getting more funding. It's just going to take a little bit of legwork. I wish we would have met you a little sooner, but we still got plenty of time. You don't want to rush into anything. When the colleges say, oh, we're going to offer you this or that, every college that offers you money, say, oh, thank you. Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. You can accept money from all the colleges. The only one that's going to matter is the one you go to.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Because it's all funny money anyway until you go there. No matter what scholarships they give you, you don't get them until you show up. So when you don't show up at a school, instead of saying, oh, I picked my favorite school instead of you, bye-bye, you want to say to the school, oh, gee, I'm really sorry, based on economics and all the circumstances, I ended up choosing this school, but I sure hope you'll keep me on your transfer roster in case any other resources come available. Then I can consider maybe transferring to your school at some time in the future.
Smart. Yeah.
Now, we have a lot of students who say, oh, I would never do that. But you haven't been to the school yet. You don't know what it's like in Boston.
Right.
You know, my son got into Berklee School of Music in Boston. He went out there for a campus visit, and people are different back east.
Yes.
They live in a different world back there. They have a different outlook. Some of these kids have gone to this school that you're going to go to for generations.
Right.
Daddy went there. He's a physician. Grandpa went there, on and on and on. So we're going to give you all the insights that we can deliver to you from our organization with our 40 years of experience at working with over 50,000 students to help you maximize the money that you get, not just for year one, but every year along the way, because college costs are going to go up. And that's why we don't tell the other schools to go away. We try to keep them thinking that they have a chance. And they know that one way they can do it, they can get a real feather in their cap. We could recruit them away from that school. Boy, that'd be great for us. Let's give them a bigger check. Now you get a bigger check. Now you go back to your school, you write them a note and go, oh boy, look what Creighton offered me this year. I'm afraid my mom's going to make me transfer. Is there anything more you can do to help me make sure I can stay here? You get the idea?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is business, okay? Yes, I know all the people are really nice to you, but as you'll discover, all the people at all the schools are really nice. So I'm going to send you a video along with our formal offer. I want you and your mom. How old is your next youngest student?
He has a brother who's a junior this year, and then he has an 8-year-old brother.
Okay, the junior should be right in the middle of this right now.
The junior,
Right.
the challenge is the junior is he's at his father's house right now.
Okay, well, that's okay. I mean, dad is interested in him going to school, right?
Should be, yes, we hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll let you determine that. I just wanted you to know that because he's with his father doesn't exclude him from being eligible to participate.
Wonderful.
And if your ex-husband or your father, Cole, has other children that could benefit from this, that could be a part of it too. Are you formally divorced or just separated, or what's your status?
We're divorced. And
Okay.
yeah.
In the divorce decree, did he have a obligation for education?
No.
Okay. So, he may decide to step up and help somewhere along the way, but you guys need to have a plan B.
Right.
So that if in fact it doesn't work out the way you'd hope, that you've got an alternative that's going to make Cole's dreams come true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shut up now in case you wonder if I ever took a breath. Are there any questions I could answer for either one of you?
Do you have any questions first? If you're thinking of one, what is the time commitment? I'm just
half hour a week from Cole.
College. I mean, he's doing both
Well, I'm doing both my regular high school, finishing that up, which I graduate in May. And then, like I mentioned, I'm also an EMT student, so I have some clinical rotations on rescues, ER.
Good for you. That'll be invaluable to you. And that's another reason why the colleges are going to go, forget that freshman, sophomore stuff. He's already erased that. He's proven to us that he's on the right path. That half hour involves reading emails. And I don't care if you got to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to read them. If you can put a half hour in and communicate with these colleges, Mrs. Henderson is going to walk you step by step through what you need to do. When we communicate with you by phone, we're going to be recording those phone calls and send you a copy and your mom a copy. And also Angeline will get a copy. So all of the people you see right here, we're all going to be in the loop.
awesome.
You can't have too many people helping you with this process.
No, it takes a village. We love our village always.
Anything you can think of, Cole?
Just one thing, sir. So at present time, MCPHS is where I want to go. But say another school offers me a lot of funding and I decide that that's where I want to go, would I still be able to attend that one?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to be casting some bread on the water for you to see what's out there.
Okay.
You did your research and you made a decision. But as life presents opportunities to us, some of us just never really look both ways to see what possibilities are. We're not trying to change your mind. We're just going to give you some insight into what opportunities are out there. So if you see something that makes more sense or is economically more favorable, you have that option. You wouldn't be the first medical student to attend 1, 2, or 3 different medical schools before they finish their career. Money has a lot to do with it because it's expensive to get your medical degree, and yet the need is greater now than ever before. So I can't tell you how pleased I am to have the opportunity to meet the two of you. This is one of those rare opportunities. Sometimes we talk to students and they're going to college because grandpa told them if they didn't, they'd get kicked in the butt. That doesn't seem to be your motivation at all. You do this because you believe in this and you want to devote your life to something meaningful. We couldn't be happier to be a part of it. And we're going to send you our formal offer. You're going to have contact numbers for Angeline, who's going to be available to talk with you about some other things that she does on the financial side to make sure your financial house is in order, so that if anything goes wrong that you weren't expecting, you've got some backup plans along the way. We try to put together a total package so that you've got all the tools you need, that you can focus your energy on what your dream is and not worry about the money. It's a waste of energy to worry about the money. But you can't just say, oh, well, I know the money's going to fall from heaven. You got to make it happen. It takes some work.
That'd be nice.
It would be. If you win the lottery, we can call this whole thing off. But otherwise, it's going to take a little bit of work, and about a half-hour a week is all it's going to
That's
take.
right.
Once you get in college, it'll be slightly less than that. And a lot of it'll be intermittent communication with Mrs. Henderson and our team, just to tell us what's going on in your life. Maybe you need this, maybe you need that. You'll want to make connections with the Alumni Association. We're going to give you a planning guide that shows you how you can connect with the Alumni Association, find other doctors who've graduated from your school, that when they meet you, they're going to fall in love with you like we did and say, hey man, don't step aside, don't give up. You're going to be able to do it. It takes a lot of support and encouragement to look at the kind of education that you've got in front of you. So I've almost told you more than I know, but I wanted you to know we'd be delighted to work with you, and I really hope you and your mom will give our offer some consideration. We'll do the legwork. We know what to do. We know what order to do it in. Don't file your FAFSA without talking with us if you decide to take our offer, because we can really help make sure that you get your financial information correct.
Okay.
Angeline is going to review some of that. We want to make sure you're holding whatever assets you have in the very best way possible. Are you guys buying your home there?
I own my home.
Good for you.
I mean,
Good for you.
I have a mortgage.
Yeah. Don't we all, huh?
Yeah, but I do home. I worked pretty hard before I became a caretaker for my father, so it's just,
I understand.
yeah.
Well, I just want you to know we don't want to invade any of that, if at all possible. Some of the colleges, like the one you mentioned, some of those colleges will look at your home equity as an available asset to pay for college. So Mrs. Henderson will show you how you can encumber that with something called a HELOC, home equity line of credit, where you don't actually need to take any money out. You just pay some money to the bank to say, yeah, this equity is all tied up, so it's not available anymore. That way you don't have the colleges saying, oh, well, you got home equity. Why don't you take a second mortgage and send a check to us? Because that's the kind of thing they try to do. So you'll want to have somebody who's been around the horn a few times there to help you, guide you, and make sure that you get the insight you need to make good decisions. I think we're about up against our timeline here, aren't we, Angeline?
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
You're very welcome. Does this make sense, you guys? Does this make sense to you?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, good enough. We're going to sign off for now. We'll be sending you over some additional information. Angeline's going to send you, if she hasn't already, her contact information, so you can call her with any questions. We'll give you, Kathy and I will be sending you all of our phone numbers here at our support center. We're located in Tucson, but we do this all over the country. There's no states that we don't have students that we're working with. So we're delighted to get a chance to meet you. We'll look forward to showing you how, through working together, we can make your college dreams come true.
Thank you guys so much. All three of you guys. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
You're welcome. Bye, Cole. And you've done a wonderful job.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.